With a 20-year reputation for clean business, Matt Glynn at Code Property Group is the first choice for real estate on the Sunshine Coast and surrounding areas. I've known Matt for a very long time from a personal level and professional level, and he is an excellent real estate agent. He's professional, he holds a high level of integrity, he presents incredibly well, and has a huge amount of knowledge when it comes to the real estate industry. So if you are in the market to buy, sell, or simply get a valuation and find out more about your current property, then give Matt a call on 0404 315 066 or matt.glynn, GLYNN at codepg.com. You won't be disappointed. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Paul's Body Engineering Podcast. All right, another episode into 2025. We're in July, midway through 2025, which is, I guess, scary in some respects because the year is obviously traveling very, very fast. But at the same time, I'm hoping that everyone who's listening to this is getting their shit done and just, ticking off the goals that they set themselves at the start of the year. So, today's podcast is somewhat of a taboo topic because it's still relatively new. It's not spoken about a lot publicly, but it is getting heavily utilized, and that is the GLPs, or the number one out of those products is Ozempic. There's also a few others we'll go over and a couple of others that are being heavily utilized. Look, it's a scary situation we're in at the moment because they're getting referred to by doctors. So doctors are, if someone goes to their doctor and says, look, I need to lose some weight, or the doctor says, look, you need to lose some weight for surgery or for your health or whatever, they'll give them a script often for this product because obviously it was originally designed for diabetes, but it is now, for the treatment of diabetes, it was now identified as a means of suppressing your appetite, therefore allowing for a bigger response in terms of weight loss. It's a scary world we're heading in because this is becoming a regularly utilized tool. And I mean tool because people are grabbing it and using it and thinking, okay, great, scale number's going down. But what does that mean? What does that mean when the scale number is going down off the back of a drug simply because you are suppressing your appetite, therefore you're not eating as much food? It means that you're losing weight, okay? Emphasize the word weight. Body fat, sure, but also water weight, also muscle mass, and you've got absolutely no control over which one is which because of the fact that you're suppressing your appetite and you're not eating anywhere near as much. In fact, the appetite suppression is quite significant. And it forces you to eat, well, it doesn't force you, it stops you from eating anywhere near as much as you would have. And if you have gotten yourself into a position where you're carrying a lot of weight, or you feel you are, so therefore you're probably overeaten for a lengthy period of time, right? So your body is adapted and adjusted to a high calorie intake. All of a sudden, you're going to drop that by half, if not more. Your body's just going to rapidly grab whatever it can for energy and make up the difference really quickly. So body fat, yes, but also muscle mass. And this is the scary proposition. When we think of significant and aggressive muscle loss, we think of a number of side effects. And I'm going to go through them today because this podcast, yes, it's going to highlight a lot of the side effects and a lot of the negative side effects and a lot of the long-term outcomes as well. Now, as we get further along with the use of Ozempic and the other GLPs, there's more and more studies coming out showing what can potentially happen, and there's a long list of concerns out there. So if you are someone out there either considering this or have been referred to use it or been recommended to use it, you need to do your own due diligence. You need to make sure that you are checking everything you need to in order to understand not only the health concerns but also the long-term ramifications. And look, some of the common side effects which are coming out now due to more extensive use of this product, but also research around it, are common things like nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, abdominal pain, abdominal bloating, fatigue, low energy, headaches, dizziness, lightheadedness, dehydration, and they're just the common side effects. There's actually more substantial ones than that. But think about it, when you intentionally reduce your appetite so that you can't consume as much food, therefore you don't have as much energy in your system, straight away you are going to have fatigue. You are going to have low energy. You are going to potentially have lightheadedness and dizziness because you just don't have as much food. Now, if you're someone who's carrying a lot of weight but has restricted themselves in terms of eating for years and years and years, or tried different diets, your metabolic threshold will be quite low. Your calorie intake will be quite low. Therefore, you restricting your diet through the use of Ozempic or another GLP is only going to diminish what your intake is. Therefore, your energy is going to be significantly low. Like some people I've worked with over the years have come to me and they've been on like 1,000 calories. That's their sort of average intake, but they haven't had any success losing weight. Therefore, if you were at 1,000 calories and then you hit Ozempic pretty hard for a period of time based on the recommendations, you could be consuming 500 calories or less. Like, that's not a lot of food. That's one meal for me. So that's quite concerning. Therefore, yes, you are going to absolutely get dizzy. You are going to get lightheaded. You are going to get headaches. You are going to suffer from significant fatigue. Like, that is concerning. Now, for anyone who has experienced lengthy periods of fatigue, where does that leave you? When you've got lots of fatigue, you're less likely to exercise. When you're less likely to exercise, your fatigue builds. You become somewhat lazy, become somewhat closed in, and then your mood starts to change. You start to suffer from things like depression, apathy, anxiety. You are less likely to be active. You are less likely to be motivated, and then that leads to mental concerns. Depression is obviously one of the thresholds of obviously going down the path of mental health concerns. So, it's a slippery slope, the use of this product. It really is. And this is something that people are not talking about. They're handing this shit out like cotton candy. Doctors are giving it out left, right, and centre. And now I hear on good authority that weight loss companies such as Jenny Craig are included it in their programs. Like, that is a scary proposition. When you don't know or understand the ramifications of taking something like this, but are fearful of your business model being turned on its head because these products are coming to the market, well, let's just include it anyway. Let's just see if we can get it in part of our package. And yeah, here's your portion control diet, but also take this drug, this wonder drug, and we'll guarantee that you'll lose weight. They're like, what a bunch of bullshit. Seriously. We are going to be, I reckon, I was going to say 5 years, probably even 2 years from now, we're going to be in a mental health epidemic. We're already close to that anyway for other reasons other than this particular drug. But this is just going to compound the issue. And there are going to be so many people with so many health concerns, so many internal issues, and so many mental health concerns that it is going to be an epidemic. And I haven't even talked about the long-term concerns yet. Like, long-term, this product, there are some studies, very early on studies, that showcase the potential for cancer risk. Like, how concerning is that? That is very, very scary propositions. And I'm not, I haven't even talked about, because I'm stuttering here because I'm trying to get all this out, and you can understand I'm quite passionate about this. You can't go on Ozempic forever, right? Generally speaking, it's recommended for a short period of time, a month, 2 months. You get some weight off, and then you have to go off it to allow your body to regulate. Well, through that period, you obviously lose a lot of weight, but you're not taught about reverse dieting. You're not taught about maintaining that weight loss. You're not given any of those tools. So as soon as you get off it, guess what? You're going to potentially rebound. Like, there's been an extensive study done recently that showed most people regain much, if not all, of their weight within a year of stopping, unless they change their lifestyle considerably. Now, that's not part of the program. You get given a drug and you get sent on your way. There's no instruction manual, there's no direction, there's no ongoing support about how to change your lifestyle habits to manage this better. And then once you get off the drug, how do you keep the weight off? You're not told that. So straight away, there is nearly everybody within the study that I'm reading right now regain the weight. Like, that's concerning. Now, in terms of loss of natural hunger and the fullness signals to your brain, obviously, when you get full, your body tells your brain, okay, you've had enough. Well, prolonged suppression, it can deregulate that signaling, therefore complicating post-medication weight maintenance. So you don't know when you're full. You don't know when enough is enough once the Ozempic has stopped. Again, another issue. Emotional blunting. This is something that is not spoken about at all. Some users report feeling emotionally flat or loss of interest in food, socializing, or even sex because of this product while you're on it. It may be linked to changes in dopamine signaling, but because it's so new, they haven't extensively researched it enough, but that is a legitimate concern. Here's another one that's going to shake some boots. Significant weight loss can disrupt hormonal and menstruational, if that's a word, systems in women, especially with rapid fat loss. So changes in fertility and menstrual cycles. I mean, if you're looking to lose weight to fall pregnant, this is not the way to do it. Seriously, seek out a professional, get the appropriate support, and take the time to do it right. Please don't take this quote-unquote wonder drug. Now, high risks. Let's talk about high risk for a second. People with eating disorders. Straight away, you're already compounding the issue. You haven't solved the problem, but you need to lose the weight, so you take a drug to compound the issue even further. Digestive issues. If you've got IBS, IBD, gastroparesis, these things are further issues compounded by what you're taking in terms of Ozempic. Individuals with thyroid issues. Again, same thing. Like, this does not solve any problems, in my opinion. If anything, it's creating problems, not solving them. Therefore, we're not getting to the bottom of the issue as it stands. Like, this is really concerning. From a general lifestyle perspective, from a bodybuilding perspective, I know certain coaches out there that are starting to administer Ozempic to help their cause. And it's their cause. It's coming from a selfish point of view, because a client who engages a coach obviously engages that coach on good merit, with transparency and honesty, and they say, okay, you tell me what to do and I'll do it. I believe your system, I believe in you, and you've obviously got the results on the board. Well, guess what? Some coaches now are going, well, take this drug. Yes, it'll be totally fine. It's totally safe. Oh my God. Like, people know how important weight training is. I preach about it all the time. The importance of strength training in terms of longevity, in terms of strength, in terms of metabolic performance, in terms of bone health. Well, guess what? All of that is going to go to shit if you take this drug for a lengthy period of time. One major study in 2022 found that within 1 year of stopping a GLP, most people regain 2/3 of their weight loss. So there's another study that supports the fact. Muscle breakdown, is significant. Imagine going through 2 months of Ozempic, losing a lot of muscle loss, a lot of muscle tissue, so lean mass, and then going back to the gym, because chances are you maintaining a high level of exercise is probably going to diminish through that period because of the fact that you're not going to have energy, you're going to be fatigued, you're going to feel nauseous, you're going to be vomiting. There's all these other side effects. So then that all disappears when you go off it, and you go, right, I'm back into the gym now. I've lost all this weight. I want to look good. Well, guess what? Your strength is going to go as well. So therefore, that's going to have a myriad of impacts mentally on you as well. You think, why have I lost all this strength? I was lifting, 200 kilos in a leg press only 3 months ago, and now I can barely lift 60. Well, guess what? You've lost a third of your muscle mass because of the 2 months you've spent on this drug. It is so concerning. Whether you're a male, whether you're a female, hormonal disruption, emotional change, dependency concerns. Like, when the script runs out, are you then going to panic? Are you then going to, because you know how hard it is to get into your GP, so you've got to think ahead. You've got to preempt the next appointment to get the next script without the last one running out. Like, that alone is going to raise anxiety and stress. Oh my God, it's seriously ongoing. And we know the importance of preserving lean mass. We know the importance of mental health. We know the importance of doing things in a healthy manner. But unfortunately, we're in a society now where we need results quickly. We want shortcuts. We are not prepared to wait. And unfortunately, that is the case in this instance. And that's why people are prepared to run the gauntlet and run the risk. But you need to be aware of the significant health concerns. If it is recommended to you to use Ozempic in any way, shape or form from a weight loss perspective, do your due diligence. Ask the appropriate questions. If you're still unsure, do your own research. Get a second opinion. Speak to someone in the know. Make sure that you have asked the appropriate questions and done the appropriate research, because this is concerning. Like, I certainly do not want to experience any of those symptoms at all. Like, having a headache at any given time is bad enough, let alone diarrhea, constipation, vomiting, abdominal pain, heavy bouts of fatigue, headaches, dizziness. Like, I don't want to experience that. I certainly don't want to have a loss of appetite. And I don't want to suffer from dehydration, because I know how extreme that can be as well. Serious side effects, gallbladder issues, increased risk of gallstones, pancreatitis, acute or chronic pancreatitis, hypoglycemia, muscle loss, we spoke about that, hair loss, common in rapid weight loss and increasing reported anecdotal in GLP. So anecdotal means early stages of research. So it's still research, but it's anecdotal. It hasn't been necessarily, what's the word I'm looking for, confirmed through a meta-analysis. But the early signs are that hair loss is definitely a concern. And obviously mood changes as well. There's even been suggestions in some of the early research that suicide is a serious concern if you stay on this product for lengthy periods of time, because of the state of depression you can get in, because of the lack of energy, the low moods, the lack of appetite. You can't even go out and have a social meal because you can barely eat. Like, it's such a concerning product. So look, as much as this is a dire, dark and all negative contextual podcast on this particular product, on this particular episode, and on this particular GLP, I don't care, because it needs to be said. Like, too many people are stepping around it too much in fear of getting persecuted or publicly shamed or whatever. But the fact of the matter remains, the early signs of research show that these are all the considerable negative side effects. Some are minor, sure, but some are serious. The fact that there is a suggestion that there's cancer risk should be something for everyone to run for the hills and not turn back. Like, seriously. But the fact that, even just the fact that you go through all this, you spend 2 or 3 months on this product, on this pharmaceutical, and then you get off it, and then the chances of you regaining that weight in a short period of time are ridiculously high, for me, is a concern on its own, because you're not taught about life lessons. You're not taught about lifestyle skills. You're not taught about maintaining the weight loss that you've just had. So look, it's a real concern. It's given it's been handed out as quickly as it is, I'm very concerned about where things stand in 12 months from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. Do your research, understand the impacts. It's effectively like taking a drug. Well, it is a drug, but like a recreational drug. You want to go down that path? Well, understand the risks, okay? Know the risks, understand the risks. Don't turn a blind eye simply because you are desperate to lose weight and you've tried everything. You haven't tried everything, okay? I'm here to tell you haven't tried everything. You haven't tried consistency. You haven't tried tracking for a lengthy period of time. You haven't tried exercising at appropriate levels. I guarantee you can do better than going on a drug like this, and therefore 20 years from now having all these issues and regretting it, mind you, because you just didn't have the patience or the desire to see out a proper process. Right. If anyone has listened to this and is on the product and has concerns, reach out. I'm happy to chat. If anyone is considering taking one of these products or going to their GP to help with weight loss, reach out. I'm more than happy to chat. If you've already been on it and you've had some experiences, share them with me. I'll keep you anonymous, but share them with me. I'd love to hear, because I've spoken to people who have been on them. I've spoken to people who have considered it. I've spoken to people who swear against it. And, there is generally a unanimous sort of contextual commentary around the use of it in terms of what it does do, but also what it can potentially cause, and that's the concerning fact. So don't look at the shiny new toy, actually understand what's going on amongst it. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to wind up there, but thank you once again for tuning in. I certainly do appreciate it. It is a concerning period of time we're in with this particular drug, but I'm hoping that just through education and platforms such as this podcast, people can actually understand what's going on, have a lot more information and education around it, and make smart, critical decisions regarding their health. So thank you once again. If you're interested in any of my coaching services, please jump on paulsbodyengineering.com. Or alternatively, just send me a DM through Instagram. Happy to chat. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please screenshot and share it across your stories. Tag myself at Paul's Body Engineering. Share it to someone who may be considering it so that they've got more information at hand. It doesn't hurt to share good quality information, that's for sure. So in the meantime, thank you once again for tuning in. And as I say to every client every single day, have a great day. Experience the difference with Matt Glynn at Code Property Group. With a 20-year reputation of a clean business, Matt is your guy when it comes to all things real estate. Make sure you give him a call now on 0404 315 066.